And, I mean, you played one game. It's just a lack of experience so far in this season. It's going to take some games to get rolling into it.
Yeah, definitely. You were mentioning the weather. It's a hot 78 degrees outside, and that's not necessarily football weather. Football's weather is meant to be played in a cool environment. When you throw them out in the heat, kids can get dehydrated and kids can cramp, and that's something you got to look out for, especially tonight. I also want to move on to how the defense played in the Souderton game week 1. Although they lost, I was pretty impressed by the front seven. Mike McGinley, Ryan Corbett, Ryan Campbell, these guys were flying around. You can tell, even though they are a little undersized, some may say these kids are playing with swagger. They're flying around. They committed themselves to the weight room, and you can tell they are putting up a fight with their speed against some of these bigger players, and it really showed. The only question mark on the defense I have for Haverford is the secondary, specifically that second corner spot, talking about Vinny and Jimmy Frisaro swapping in and out there, and then Keith Heinrichs, who some people also say is a little undersized, but I think that kid committed himself to the weight room. He also plays with swagger. I have faith in him, but that second spot is going to be attacked tonight with Conestoga's air raid offense.
Yeah, and the simple way to put it is this defense is going to be the thing that's going to keep this team in games because we'll talk a little bit shortly about the offense and how they changed up their base game plan coming into it. It's the defense that's going to keep them in games and really keep them competitive this season. We'll talk about the running backs. Nate Shoemaker and Will Hoolier, they're going to have to step their game up, and that's just the simple fact. They're going to truly have to be the anchors of this offense. We'll talk about Liam Taylor now as a sophomore, starting similar to Tommy Wright, who graduated last season. He's a sophomore starting tonight. His arm isn't quite as mature as some other quarterbacks in this league yet. He did have one throwing touchdown last week, but it was sort of a loopy throw to Keith Heinrichs, who had to kind of dive back for it. So it's going to be the run game that's going to have to really push this team forward this season, especially this game, knowing Conestoga's 3-3 stacked defense they're going to run tonight.
Yeah, and that's also probably what we were expecting when we were coming in as we were talking about the new offense. So you have your gunslingers gone. Tommy Wright's gone. Previously, Tommy Crusoe, even Trey, if we're going back far as Trey Blair, Jack Donaghy. All those guys had arms that were mature. Liam Taylor, not so much. And Haverford, when I was there, my first 2 years, there was a big sort of mantra of one way. We do everything one way. And I think Coach Doherty made the really smart realization of it can't always be done one way, and we need to adapt. So he switched up the offense to the wishbone offense, and that's characterized by something similar to what Strathaven has ran, where you have sort of three backs kind of crunched in this compact set in the backfield, fullback directly behind the quarterback who's under center, and then two A-backs or tailbacks splitting the quarterback and the fullback. And it's a very tight, compact formation meant for run, a lot of counter, a lot of power, a lot of deception through the run game. That's something that they need to dominate, and we talked about Will Julio and Nate Shoemaker stepping up.
Yeah. We could talk now, and the one thing is, Strathaven, it's very successful with Strathaven's offense, so it's something that if Haverford wants to kind of establish this as the new wave going forward for him, they're going to have to step it up in both the run game, and again, like talked about the O-line with the conditioning, they're going to have to really pave the way for the running backs and Liam Taylor to be successful.
Definitely. It all depends on this line. I mean, we were talking about, although they did commit themselves to the weight room, that is perfectly fine, but you can't really teach size. And we see a few of these kids on the Strathaven team, 6'4", 6'5", 250, 260, 280. I mean, these kids are big boys, and they're going to come in, and they're going to try to wreck you. You're really going to need to stay on top, drive your feet. Everything that Coach Graby has taught is going to need to be put into practice.
Yeah, now we'll switch as Haverford has entered the field. Conestoga, I believe, will be coming on as we speak. We'll talk a little bit about their game last week. They fell to Owen J. Roberts, 25-22. They struggled with the passing game last week. We saw, obviously, similar to how the Fords lost Tommy Wright, they lost their starting quarterback in Peter Costigan. But at some point last season, he did get injured, and Jude Cook stepped in to kind of fill his role. And so you'll see Jude Cook starting in the quarterback position tonight for them. But last week, their passing game was not successful.
Yeah. Jude Cook didn't really find his way through the air. I mean, 121 yards, no passing touchdowns, and the only place he did find his stride was on the ground. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, along with a 3rd rushing touchdown from running back Charlie Gilmartin. But other than that, it looks like they really couldn't find it through the air. So that's something they're going to try to get to happen. This is something, since we were talking about the weak secondary for the Fords, we're really going to need to see Conestoga, if they want to win, start to dominate the pass game. Jude Cook's going to have to step up.
As the two teams now head out to do the captains meeting one last time, the coin toss did happen already. Haverford won the toss. They deferred to the second half. So the Fords will be kicking it off in just a couple of minutes, and you can feel it in the air, as you said, Nick. Friday Night Lights are back here at Haverford High School, and Haverford Sports Media is pleased to be broadcasting it live for you guys at home. Again, the first broadcast of the 2023 season. Me and you, Nick, had the privilege of doing the first broadcast last season as well, and I also was able to do the first broadcast in 2021. That was a basketball game, so it's a pleasure really to be here with you, especially as we enter our senior year, to kick this HSM final year off strong for us.
Yeah, something special. Something special for the kids on the field. Special for us. I mean, we love being here. We love calling these games, and I think we're just as ready to go as they are on the field.
So we will be taking a quick break as the national anthem will play, and we're just a couple of minutes away from kickoff here at AG Conestoga Field. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the broadcast. The national anthem was just played. A great rendition by the Haverford High School marching band. Just amazing. As the teams are set, Vincent Cunningham is set to kick off to Conestoga's Kyle Friend, and James Queasy are out there to return the kick. And the home opener for the Fords is officially underway. That kick, kind of line drive out there, bounces at the 25. Hopefully not going out of bounds as it slowly rolls out. That'll be a penalty, not the way you want to start this one off.
Yeah, Coach Doherty's probably not happy about that one, and he's going to look to get his head in the game here. He's ready to go. He's ready to call some plays. We saw his play calling last week, and we sort of know what to expect in his offense, but enough of that. We're just going to be looking at the defense here. It looks like we got Owen Rose, high safety, Keith Heinrichs, and that looks like Jimmy Forsaro at corners. We were talking about the secondary. They're going to need to hold it up. And as for key players, Ryan Campbell. he is the heart of this defense, middle linebacker. He's going to want to step up here, and I think he will. That kid plays with some heart.
And it looks like they'll be re-kicking.
I don't think I've ever seen that before, Connor.
I'm not sure if Conestoga's coach declined the penalty and that causes a kick again, or instead of taking the yardage, which would be, 15 from the spot of where it went out. We're still unsure of that call. We apologize, but it looks like Cunningham is set to kick again. Brandon Queasy still back there to return as take 2 of this game. Line drive over towards Kyle Friend. Scooped up at the 20-yard line. He's now running. Runs into his own teammate. Ball is up. Eventually taken down by a couple of Fords. And now that is the way that you want to start this game. I'm sure Conestoga's coach is not very happy about that one.
What a sequel there. Coach Doherty went from the worst kickoff to his life to one of the best. Look at that. This kick team is going to be special here. Special teams has been a struggle for the past few years for the Fords, but seeing that gets me inspired.
That's a great sign, absolutely, for the Fords, and looking forward in this one for the rest of the day. Still trying to figure out what the call on the field was that sent them to re-kick the ball, but we are underway here. Jude Cook is behind center today, as we expected in the first snap for the Pioneers offense. Good snap, fake pitch. Cook takes it himself, goes up the middle, still pushing forward. A couple Fords around him. He'll go down about 2 or 3 yards there for Conestoga.
And that's exactly what you're looking for if you're the Fords. Hopefully 2 yards in a cloud adjust. You just want to stuff them every time they try to run. They're going to run a lot of this option stuff with Jude Cook. He can run, and Gil Martin's also a talent back there. So containing the run is going to be something that the Fords really need to do here.
Yeah, and I'm expecting to see Conestoga pass the ball more tonight than they did last week, just because of somehow you can expose some weak seams in the cover 3 zone that the Fords will be running today.
Cook in the shotgun last play. Looks like he's going under center.
It'll be a pitch back there to number 21.
Looks like we don't have him on the roster here.
We do not have him on the roster. We apologize.
Maybe a jersey switch. Last week Ryan Campbell was wearing 71.
Yeah, sometimes you have those late in the or just before the first snap, but we apologize. We'll try to figure out who that is on the field if he'll continue to be back there behind Cook this evening.
Now we got 3rd and probably medium right here, potentially expecting a pass.
3rd and 7. Ball is on the 31-yard line. Cook sends his tight end in motion. He's going to take it himself again. Going up the middle, taken down by a swarm of Fords again. That'll force a 4th down. I think he was short. Looks like Conestoga wants it. I don't think he got there, Nick.
I don't think he did either, and that was a great play by Kevin McNicholas. That kid is hustling. If you were looking at him out there, he was flying. He's always been known for his speed on the line, and he's been pretty unfortunate with injuries his past 1 or 2 years. And just to see him flying around on the field, it's really good.
It is 4th and 1, and it looks like they're kind of setting up into a QB rush, but he'll hand it off. He'll plummet forward. It looks like he did cross the line of gain. They'll give it to him, and it'll give the Pioneers a fresh set of downs to keep this offensive drive going.
Yeah, that's just straight putting your head down and keeping on, if you know what I mean. Looks like that Conestoga offensive line is just going to be relentless tonight. Looks like you got number 66. That's going to be
Benner Miller.
He looks like he's going to be going up against Kevin McNicholas a lot tonight.
Yeah, I mean, 6'3", 240. He's a big guy there. For, again, as physical as these Fords are, some of them, they are undersized. We talked about they hit the weight room. They're more physical at the line, but they are undersized. So it's something you have to keep in mind because you can't teach size, as you said.
Of course, Alex Klee checking into the game at D tackle.
Cook under center again. They'll pitch that one back, and Conestoga will take it up the middle. Barely any gain. So far, that's Shoemaker there for the tackle. Seems like this little counter-run pitch game is not working.
Yeah, it looks like it's moving pretty slow. I think they might want to go to the air. I wonder if they want to test Cook's arm. The only pass we've seen, he's sort of scrambled.
2nd and 8. Ball is on the 41. 8:50 to go in this first quarter. be another handoff, this time to Tom Costigan, the younger brother of last year's quarterback Peter Costigan. He'll run forward. That's a solid gain there for the Pioneers. They'll place the ball at the 6-yard line. It is a 3rd and 3 now for Conestoga.
And it looks like Conestoga's trying to take control of the ground game. And honestly, that's probably what every coach comes into AG Coronado trying to do, establish the ground game. But I'm going to be curious to when do they start testing Cook's arm.
At some point, they're going to want to air one out just to test the waters and see what's happening with this Ford secondary, because it can be pretty weak at some points. They're going to go back to Costigan. He's going to break a tackle. He plummets forward. That's a 1st down for Conestoga. And they're going to keep this offensive drive momentum pushing forward as we're under 8 minutes here in this first quarter.
Yeah, the key for these running backs or anyone who's handling the ball on the ground for Conestoga is going to be pushing it to the second level. Once you get past those big guys in the front, you're going to be able to try to maybe either truck, get a little juke on those people in the secondary. That's probably going to be the key for Conestoga's run game.
You have Charlie Newhall in the backfield, the Navy commit. He led the Pioneers in tackles last season. You'll see him kind of in this tight end run backer, scheme they're going to run all day. It's barely any yards once again with the run. But Newhall, 44, is a guy to look out for. The 6'3", 235 Navy commit is definitely someone to watch out for.
Once again, McNicholas and Colin Corker, the interior D-line, just making plays. Love to see it. Keep an eye on Ryan Corbett, number 51, defensive end. Although he may not look as big as he is, he's really got some speed on him, and he will tear you down.
2nd and 8, ball placed on the 45-yard line. 6:53 to go. Flags thrown. And looks like Conestoga will be backing up.
Looks like that one's going to be a small 5-yarder. Puts him in a bad position for 2nd and long here.
Looks like it was 12 men on the field was the call. So that'll back them up to a 2nd and 13. Ball is placed on the 50. They'll try to pound the run game with Costigan once again, but they won't get back up to their original line of scrimmage. That'll send them to about 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12 if I had to guess. 3rd and 11, ball will be placed right about the 49.5-yard line. This could be a big stop here for the Fords, especially if Conestoga doesn't get a lot of yardage here. It'll force the coaching staff for the Pioneers to make a decision.
Yep, 3rd and long. Owen Rose, Keith Heinrichs, and Jimmy Frisaro better be ready because it could come in the air.
I'm expecting the pass here, but you never know with how versatile this team can be. They're going to fake it, fire straight to his left side, and it's dropped by James Queasy, and that'll force a 4th and long here with 6 minutes to go in the first. Nick, if you're the coach here, what are you doing?
Well, we're on the 50. It's going to be 4th and long. I'm honestly going to surrender, punt it away, try to pin him back deep, and keep your defense, get a quick 3 and out.
And it looks like Coach Diamond here for the Pioneers is going to keep Cook out there.
I don't know if that's going to be a smart move. This may backfire on him. We saw Cook. He's really stiff in the pocket. It doesn't look like he's going to be moving around too much besides those rollout plays where he purposely scrambles. I don't know.
And
his first throw was a little bit off the mark.
Looks like Coach Diamond's going to take some time to talk this one over with his guys, because unless you're so unconfident in the Ford's offense that you're thinking, oh, if we don't convert here, it's going to be an easy turnover. We're going to get the ball back soon. Unless he's thinking that, I'm not sure what his thought process would be for going forward here. It's 4th and long, and obviously he had an open man there in Queasy, but I mean, it just doesn't look sustainable so far. As now it looks like they're going to send out the punting unit.
Must have been a little bit of a hard count is what I was expecting.
Trying to get him to pull and then put him a little closer, but they'll send Andrew Arbus, the 5'10" senior, to punt this ball away.
Looks like Buddy Kocher and Owen Rose back to receive.
You saw Owen Morris last week returning some of the punts, but at one point, LDOC got on him for letting a ball go that he wanted in the fair catch, so maybe it's a sign there. That punt is short, making sure not to touch it. That ball is going to get a nice bounce, a little roll out, and it looks like Conestoga will down it at about the 15-yard line. And Liam Taylor will take the field for the first time at home this season and the first time this game. We'll see what the Fords can come up with here.
Yeah. Souderton. I mean, we saw the one or two passes down the seam, but other than that, I think it's going to be a lot of power counter, a lot of deception in this like compact formation.
Yeah, and honestly, who knows? Because Owen J. Roberts does not run anything like this, so who knows how Conestoga's defense is going to react to this type of offense. You got Cunningham in motion. He'll stop. They now look to the sideline trying to figure out what Coach Doherty is going to call. More men in motion. Taylor hands it off up the middle. No gain for the Fords.
I think now's a good time to bring up somebody you probably wanted to see in the backfield, but you won't this year. It's going to be Zeke Bates.
Yeah, Nick, it was inevitable that we were going to bring him up at some point. As we have an injured player, so it seems like a good time to talk about it. This entire team that we have as Haverford is so different in every single way. You have quarterback, tight end, both receivers, your running back, all completely different. And it starts with all graduating players besides Zeke Bates. For those who don't know, Zeke made the decision for himself to transfer to Malvern Prep, and he reclassed as well, so he'll be getting more playing time, better competition at Malvern, but it leaves the Fords in a tough spot with kind of a gaping hole there with him, and obviously the other back was Colin Cassidy and Jake Snell. With them graduating, it left the Fords with no running back. So Nate Shoemaker will wholly have stepped up, as it was Cunningham who was down. We know he's been dealing with quad issues this week, especially when kicking. So we'll see how that impacts the rest of this game, as he's helped off by trainer Brendan. But yeah, Zeke Bates is a missing factor in this offense, but it hasn't seemed to affect them in the locker room too much at all. But it's definitely a guy that's very different that you expect to see, as Heinrichs takes this one outside, falls forward at about the 20-yard line. We'll see where they place it.
Looks like it's going to be third and short, and if I had to put all the money I have in my bank account right now, which isn't too much, I would probably say they're going to run the ball here.
Ball is on the 21. Sorry, Nick. 3rd and 3. 5 minutes to go here.
This O-line's going to have to push here. This is what this playbook is built for.
We'll keep an eye on Cunningham for you guys, but right now we got a big 3rd down conversion. Looks like Taylor keeps it. He's still pushing forward. Flags thrown. Might see a holding block in the back, something along the sort. We'll see once they figure that all out what the spot of the ball will be.
And if you're Haverford here, I'm assuming you're probably going to go for it. It's going to be 4th and short. And why not take a shot? Conestoga's offense hasn't looked too great so far in game, albeit it has only been one drive for them. But Cook looks stiff in the pocket. I think Haverford has a chance of, if they don't get this, being able to get a stop.
It looks like the referees aren't sure what happened either. Some miscommunication. Looks like they called it like a chop block, illegal, something. That's what I believe the call on the field was. It'll send 4th and 2, and it looks like Coach Doc here is going to send Corbett out there to punt this ball away.
Yep, Ryan Corbett with a little Gaelic football experience. This kid can punt a football.
That ball is up. Going to fall right towards the 45. It'll get a good bounce forward, and it's just going to keep on rolling. Good punt by Ryan Corbett. It's going to put the Pioneers pretty deep back in their zone. They'll be down about the 31-yard line.
Good call by Coach Doherty. Nice job just getting the ball out of your own end.
Yeah, and based on how you saw your defense perform, that's probably the best bet, because you know that they can stop. We haven't mentioned yet the previous matchups between these two teams. One of